All right, I'm bringing you another update tonight out here from Zuma Beach in Malibu, and I'm with my man Archie. We're the dynamic duo freedom spreaders tonight. We're engaging with some of the people out here, but I wanted to start by just talking to Archie because you've already had a great start to the day talking to people.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I did. Within half an hour, we had five people, one after another, telling me that they know what's going on, and three of them didn't have masks at all. Two of them had just a scarf down to their neck, so they were obviously just putting a scarf to hold it up like I do sometimes because I have to go to office and shop sometimes. But they didn't have a physical mask purchased anywhere. And one of them was a lady who worked for a Defense Department. And she told me she knows way more that I can think of. I said, don't worry about it. I know more than she thinks that I know. I know more, good enough of the info that I can share with people that will have the questions.
Yeah, PCH is actually starting to get very busy. It used to be no cars out here, and now there's cars going nonstop. So go ahead, Archie.
Right, and I told the lady that I'm pretty much aware of what's going on for the last 18 years. I knew this is coming, but this was genius. We have to give him a highest level of highest number of evaluation. This was a fast one. This was a genius. I mean, this was genius. The good news is they rushed up. They rushed everything. The greedy. It's a good Armenian saying, a Russian saying actually, that the greedy pays twice. So the greed buried them. Actually, they exposed themselves by doing this. By doing so, they got away with so much, and they thought this time they're gonna get away with this, but they're not going to get away with this. They can't get away with this because even if you think there's lots of zombies and it's very, very disappointing and depressing, you have to understand one thing. Let's say there's 300 million people in US. The 10% of 300 million would be
3 million.
Huh?
Well, 30 million.
30 million.
30 million, I'm sorry.
Got it. So
Slow the
imagine
uptake
the
today.
only the 10% is 30 million people who is awake. We're talking about numbers. There's many countries in Europe, they don't even reach 30 million population. They don't even have that much population. So we're talking about an average like between 5 to 10 countries population that is awake. That's the number, guys. We are on the winning side. Judicial Watch, the owners of the Judicial Watch, they start a lawsuit. There's a lot of government officials suing certain individuals, which is Fauci and Bill Gates and International Health Organization. There is lots of good things going on. With all that said, I want to say that doesn't mean that we should 100% trust Trump, okay, or trust just one person who's going to take care of everything. It's just like religious people. They're counting on God helping them, like literally. Yes, we all have to count on spiritual help, but we cannot be so childish to believe that there is a real forces or aliens gonna come and help us. Ain't gonna happen. I have bad news for you.
Well, here's where, I've been trying to explain is that really we are the answers that we've been looking for.
That's it.
So we have to activate ourselves. It's, I think if we get to the creator of life and he goes, wait a minute, you had 2 arms, 2 legs.
Why didn't you do nothing?
Why didn't you do anything?
Exactly.
Why do you need, divine intervention to handle what human beings should be able to stand on their own 2 feet and get done themselves?
Exactly.
I mean, these guys are no bigger than us. They're little tiny men.
No.
Anybody that's a bully, I've always seen as a coward, right?
Exactly.
On the flip side of it, so, and anybody, let's look at it like this. Anybody who told you to cower in place, wear a face mask, use your hand sanitizer, all of that stuff. You could give them a free pass for a period of time. Oh, maybe they didn't know. But the ones who are really pushing it, they're part of the agenda. The ones that have stuck with this bullshit script that we've exposed as a hoax, that the whole public is waking up to as a hoax, those are the ones that are profiting off our demise, the monopoly men that have a vested interest in, just our enslavement. We know now because, like Archie said, they tipped their hand. They showed us who they are. And I just want to make sure this is still going. Yep. So they now showed us that, they are all in on this. And if they didn't just start this game, the people that are in on this have been playing the public for an extended period of time, because we can show, and my man Zach Hubbard over at Gematria Effect News has shown that it goes back to 1968, the same year coronavirus was invented as a word, the same year that construction began on the World Trade Center, the same year that 911 became the emergency dialing number for the United States, the same year that George W. Bush graduated from Skull and Bones at Yale. So 1968 is when the setup for this whole hoax that we see unfolding began. And check out Zach's work for more info on that. So, Archie, what else?
Yeah, I just want to say this. All these people are pretty busy with numbers and satanic symbols and stuff like that. All the Crowleys, Disneys, and all of them. And 666 is the proposition 666. But let me tell you something. This is more of a fear-mongering. If you really think there is some dark forces behind them, you're fooling yourself, and you're falling for that CIA-created trap of mind control. There is nobody behind them. It's just the Federal Reserve Bank that prints money on the paper. That's it. Let me take the Soroses and Bill Gates and all these pieces of shit's money, and let me see what kind of dark forces they're gonna be left with. Nothing.
Well,
they're gonna be little angry security guards or little angry parking enforcement guards. All they can do is just giving you tickets for nothing, just like you see these little people. There is no dark forces behind them. Stop spreading this mystery. Make things simple. By saying so, it's my opinion, we give them too much of mystery power, mystical power. They have some dark forces.
Well, what
them.
Archie's saying is, here's the way I see it, is I fear them not, zero, because there is no force greater than your own destiny within your own heart. Nothing can stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. So what Archie is saying is, even if there is this dark evil force, I believe that they tap into something that they try to replace with the creator of life, whatever we want to call that. But the point is, it has no power over people. Okay. Yeah, the point is that it has no power over people, because the creator of life gave us free will. So in the process of you exercising your free will, if you follow your own heart, you're under spiritual protection, because the creator, in the process of giving you free will, if any outside force interferes, that's why a lot of these, crowns in the Vatican, they don't do the dirty work themselves. They have the people that go along with their agendas are really doing the dirty work. Why? Because they don't want the karma. Because they don't want to be the ones responsible for taking somebody's life. So they have people, they're soldiers and all these people that work on their behalf. So just be careful, because no matter what you engage in, you're personally responsible for it. You can't just say to yourself, oh, well, I followed an order. That is morally not an argument.
It's wrong. It's morally wrong.
It is morally wrong.
What is that supposed to mean, orders? Orders or what? If it's a constitutional order, you're protecting someone's rights. If it's an order that is justified by really protecting someone's rights, those orders are morally, based on morals. They're morally right. Yeah, go for it. I'll help you with it. But following the orders just because it's an order, then the question is, where's the humanity? Hitler also told his people to follow orders. Stalin did the same. Pol Pot did the same in Cambodia. So that's not an excuse.
So what I said in my video earlier, and I'd like to hear your commentary on this, is I said that right now we actually have people participating in a cult like a Jim Jones, or one of these cults where they're drinking the Kool-Aid. The leader says, hey, do this, we're all gonna hurt ourselves on this day, like a cult does, and people are going along. So we're now witnessing the largest cult in the history of mankind.
Absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
So you would say
absolutely it's a cult. Even all the numeric, even this HR 6666, that is a cult right there. All these numbers are occultic numbers. But again, like I said, Just because they're whacked out of their mind and they believe in some occults, they go to Bohemian Grove, they believe in Molochs and Lucifers, it doesn't mean it's real. It's not real. It's as real as somebody on mushrooms or TMD believe he saw the Jesus and had a conversation with him. It's a psychopathic behavior. Just because Jehovah's Witness goes from door to door and they tell you or they believe they just found a new way of worshiping a Jesus, or Mormons say the same thing, or somebody else that does, whatever the religion or occult is, that doesn't necessarily make it right, or doesn't make it real. Everybody has his own mind, a little fairy tale, a myth that they want to believe. We don't even really know for sure. I mean, I'm not judging anyone, but I'm saying we don't really know for sure. Some people would argue that, but I think that we don't know really for sure who was the creator, how we were created, when that happened. We don't know, let's face it, we don't. But what we know for sure, there is good and evil, and it's not some invisible forces, it's right here. It's within us. All of us, we have nasty moments. We have nasty dark side of us, and we all do. Let's be honest, people. Let's face it, we do. We just don't let it get out of us because we were lucky to have decent parents, decent neighborhood, or decent whatever childhood, I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean that other people, that you know them from your personal life. There's lots of evil people. Now imagine the same evil people with lots of money. They will have a bigger scale evil being done to everybody. That's all it is. There is nothing invisible. Don't give the power of invisible dark forces.
Well, can I say something about this? Okay, so the part I want to say about this is actually my concept of evil is to go against natural law in any way. So that's somebody's individual sovereignty. Everybody has a right to free will, to make up their own mind and to live a life of their choosing. So what if evil is something just as simple as trying to do something without somebody's consent, using manipulation, using, things that people are doing every day. So it's really just the concept of breaking free will. And it can be a subtle thing, or like Bill Gates, where you're going to try to force everybody down and put a microchip in them. But that's all it is. So if you get back to nature and you live a natural life and you let other people make up their own minds, you're not engaged in any evil, because there's nothing you can do with the consent of another human being that's evil. It's only when you're operating without consent, because that is against natural law.
Exactly. And talking about another part of the natural law and evil, you probably, all of you seen the very cold-blooded scenes when the lion is playing with an innocent lamb and kill it with no mercy. That's part of the nature too. So when people saying there is a devil, there is evil, there is God, and separate them, I think there's nothing is more silly than that, because everything, evil and good, is part of the nature. It's present in nature. For example, you have nice, beautiful animals, cats, dogs, beautiful monkeys. And then you have nasty little crocodiles and snakes and spiders. It is all created by the same creation. It comes from the same center of creation.
Harmony.
Our choice is, in which side are we? Do you want to be with crocodiles and lions, or you want to be like a lamb, or like a beautiful bird, or beautiful flower?
Well, here's what I would say about that. If you don't mind, because I have an idea about this. So my concept is, every single living thing has to be true to its own heart and true to its own nature. So you first have to ask yourself, what does it mean to be a human being? There's certain things that we were given free will. And a lion, he has a totally different makeup. So a lion being true to his heart is going to look a lot different than a human being being true to their heart. But the reason why the lion and these animals can't do evil is because they're being true to their heart. And in being true to their heart, the Creator gave them each certain rules that they could live by. That's different. So we don't get the same rules as a lion. We don't get the same rules as an ant. We don't get the same rules as a butterfly. But there are rules to being human. And when we get down to understanding our nature, we're going to understand what those rules are. And it's to live a natural life. We are a part of nature. We have to be in harmony with nature. So the butterfly, the bees, and all of it, they're playing together in harmony to the universe, the one song of creation. And we're meant to be a part of that one song of creation. We are a part of it. And it's the greatest lie. The alienation, the real aliens, is how we haven't been true to nature. We've become something we aren't. We've become the aliens because we've alienated ourselves from the earth. We've alienated ourselves from our true nature, and that's the part where we got to stop for a moment and reevaluate the whole picture. Let's get back to being human beings. So the world can go whatever direction it wants. I'm going to stay a human being, what we've been since the beginning of time, and be true to my nature as a human being. And that's going to be being true to my heart. And that's all the message I want to get out to everybody. Your heart is your ruler. So be true to yourself and be true to your real nature as a human being. Ask questions, get to know. It's your own experience. Somebody else's experience doesn't count for you. So, we're talking a little bit tonight about masks and just trying to keep people healthy with the idea, because I'm a martial arts practitioner, breath, oxygen is key. And I'm just trying to alert people that wearing these masks is actually very dangerous to their health. Breathing your own carbon dioxide can cause hypercapnia, which the symptoms are calling COVID-19. If you look up hypercapnia, they're almost identical. But the hypercapnia is far worse because it can be a long-term condition. You could cause a heart attack. So basically, I'm trying to alert people that this is an agenda. Okay, there is an agenda to enslave, and they're trying to distract us while they're stealing all the money. They gave a $20 trillion bailout to the bank, and the mouthpiece is a muzzle because they don't want us talking to each other and alerting each other that, hey, they're crashing the supply chains. There's going to be food shortages soon, and they're giving us these handouts. But at the end of the day, we were earning our own money before. We don't need their handouts. So they're crippling people, making them dependent on a system like they did to the Native Americans, and we know how that worked out. Once we have to depend on government rations and handouts, it is the beginning of a genocide.
I'm sorry to say it, I just want to add, don't go far, look at the black community.
Yep.
Remember the Mr. Milton Friedman?
Yep.
He had a whole interview about this welfare system, how they destroy the black community.
Yep, absolutely.
You're
absolutely right.
Black people were better off in segregated times because they were competing with whites. They're saying, oh really? We're going to have our bars.
The 1960s in Chicago, the housing projects were nice. They became
Those are the facts. Before the segregation, when black people were separated, they had no gangsters. They had beautiful schools, hair salons, businesses.
True. In Chicago, that's true.
They were forced to do their own. In other words, that was their way of saying,
So they had local business, local culture.
Go to your bars and your restaurants. No, we're not allowed where the whites are. Okay, fine, you're not allowed here. And they were building it. Once they did this so-called equal rights thing, they give them welfares. They degrade the black communities to the level that you see now.
You're right.
Go to any city in the United States and you will see the worst crime, the poverty, it's all in the black community. It's not because blacks are any worse or better. No, it's because the system worked them there to that situation.
And not only that, you cannot find a single health food ingredient in any black community in Chicago. They call them food deserts, right? You can't find one healthy thing to eat. So now you have generations of people eating fast food, eating nothing but bullshit, and then they go, oh yeah, there's something wrong with these people. There's nothing wrong with them. It's all health, it's diet. When you eat garbage in, garbage out. That's the way it works. You're right. So we got to get back down to giving some people some real education. But is there anything you want to say about this as a man tonight? Is there anything, how are you feeling about what's going on? What do you, from your point of view, what do you think about this?
I don't got much to say, but it's interesting what you're talking about. I'll
Okay.
do it for sure.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
You have to add the most important for the gentleman, that this virus doesn't even exist.
Yeah, the virus does not exist. Yeah, that is very important. A virus is an internal condition. So,
Internal condition.
yes, it is. Absolutely. There's no such thing as a virus that can spread one person to another like a hotcake. That's a Hollywood movie. That's just some shit they made up. Okay, that sold, that had good results in the box office, and that's what they figured out. Oh shit, the box office liked it, so we're gonna try that shit on the public, and we're gonna get some ratings. Oh, the heroes come to our rescue with vaccines. Oh, thank you, government. What would we do if you weren't here to save the day and cripple our businesses and send us piddly paychecks while you're creating stagflation and driving up the cost of living, and you're going to crash the real estate market because no one's going to have any money, nobody can pay the rents. So
You talk, I'm going to open my mouth. Because we do the same thing. Let's talk.
Oh, so you want like a puppet, right?
Right.
So Archie's doing the the puppet politician right now. So what he's basically trying to show is that these people don't speak for themselves. That's Rothschild speaking behind Archie right now, looking like Donald Trump, right? So, so anyways, but I don't know if any of you guys want to talk, but we're talking about some of the stuff going on here. The fact that these masks are very detrimental to human health.
She's one of us. She's one of us.
Oh, she knows. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she works in
All
the
right.
restaurant.
All right, cool.
But anyway, let's make the story short. This is a big fraud. Government is criminal. We have to stand up for our rights. That's short.
Okay, beautiful.
This is an attack on us. Put it this way. And regardless of who believes in Jesus, who believes in Buddha, who believes in stars, who believes in nothing, it doesn't matter. We believe in. Do you believe in freedoms?
Well,
Yes.
let's look at it this
Do you
way.
believe that no one can put nothing in your body and treat you like a slave? Yes, that's what matters. Bottom line.
Well, here's the one thing I'm going to tell you for sure, is that anybody who's telling you that oxygen doesn't matter, they're not going to be around for long, okay? You know, at the end of the day, if you don't have oxygen, if you're preaching the gospel of no oxygen, we're not going to hear from you very much longer, because your gospel is not going to stand the test of time. How do I know? Because human beings are alive today based on oxygen. So if you think you rewrote the book of life because you got paid off by, Fauci and Bill Gates and the Crown and the Vatican, you're wrong. And anybody that's starving their body of oxygen is going to pay a serious health consequence, and I just want that to be heard. So there is no God greater than oxygen, because any God or leader that's telling you don't need oxygen, try it for a few minutes and see how you do. You're going to be dead. So just keep that in mind. And that's all I got to say. Thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. I don't mean to be so passionate, but this is that serious, so thank you guys.